Hi class, this is your video feedback for your Real Deal Taco soft launch. And you'll have until next weekend, or week 4, to put these improvements into your site and update it. It should be complete by the end of week 4. No placeholder text, no placeholder images, and all of the content edited as needed for the backstory and so forth. So I'm going to jump right in and go through. I will spend less time on each one as I go through if the things that need to be looked at are repeated. Okay, so you are to watch the entire video, and that way you will know what to do when it comes to improving your site as well. All right? Okay, so let's take a look at this one. The logo is here. It's not cut off. That's great. We've got the social media that is going to the fictitious social sites. And we've got quite a few navigation pages here. We probably don't need as many. Let's put contact at the end. We always do that because that's usually the last thing that people are looking for, and they're accustomed to finding it at the end. So it's a web standard, and we try and maintain those whether we are creating a creative site or not. We do want to make sure the user has an experience that they are comfortable and accustomed to. So let's see. Probably hours and schedule could go together, and event list might go right before your contact. All right. I would call this menu, okay, because if someone is searching, that's what they're going to look for, and I would put that closer to here, around your gallery. Okay. All right. So otherwise, this is nice and clean, easy to read, and these make perfect sense. We'll see if they're in the right order. Beautiful. These look good. Nice and aligned. I like that. Good here. And everyone can take this word, edit this to where it's one line and therefore the same as the others. You've done a really good job with it anyway. Maybe that, well, it's fine actually. But if you have a real client, you would have to check with them as far as editing content. But for this purpose, it's for your portfolio, and I suggest you go ahead and edit to where things are aligned. And this is wonderful that you've done that. Okay. You have cut this down. I would probably break it up into 2 paragraphs, and we try not to have a single word on a line by itself. It may reflow when you get to a different screen size, but that's what you want to do. This overlay is nice in that both images are clear. This is nice. And I think I have looked at this one actually already. Let's check something. Okay. Rachel, if we have currently the home and then the about, if we go to the about, we're scrolling through a lot of pages. So this really needs to be up here, right? And then whatever order, this is for everybody, whatever order your navigation is, your pages, that's how it needs to flow, okay? If you have a one page, it needs to be in this order or the order we talked about, all right? Otherwise, this is a great looking site, okay? Good job. Okay, the thing about these videos in the background is if we're using a Wix video, those are very common and people are accustomed to seeing them. So we want to be careful in that sense, and we also want to be careful because they take longer to load anytime we make a video. If you're a videographer, you're going to have to put a couple of samples on your page, of course, but you try and optimize it for the best size, the best speed of refreshing as you can. And so if we don't have to do that to have a video, it's probably best that we don't. You could grab a screenshot of this and use it and still have the effect, all right? Let's try and align these images. And this, I thought it was over here before, but you may or may not need this, okay? Because you have it up here, and that should be fine. But if you are going to do it, I would put it somewhere, in the middle here by itself, and I would align these. You may have to put it on a different color background, maybe fill that box in. Make sure we have the same amount of space between our images. This is a great photo. So is this. This, we got to be careful because everybody, a plate is not something that you're going to get at a food truck. All right, so we want to be very careful about glassware. Okay, nice. Great, you found that image. Okay, glassware, but otherwise really great. Let's make sure when we do this that it's exactly the same as this. Same font, same color, same size. If one has a box, the other one has a box. If one doesn't, the other doesn't. Pretty cool. Nice. The plate, that's all. And try not to crop an image. I know it's a gallery, but try to, if they're on this page, that they can see pretty much most of everything. We want to limit scrolling and clicking. So especially if they're just going to find a picture by doing this, it's not enough reward, okay? It's not enticing enough to get us to do that. And some of these are great images, so I think you just want to make sure that this one isn't cut in half. Maybe put a different one here. Color's great, but another one so that it's not being cropped like this, so they get what they want here. All right. These, I feel like they should click, and they don't. So I would take these off. And so less scrolling, right? I don't think they're getting you anywhere. So I would jump right to here. And you want to change this and put your name and the date, the year, anyway. These, you also have these up here, I think? Nope. Okay. Depending on how much you want them to be involved with social, which probably a lot, these probably should go at the top and make sure they link to Real Deal Taco. Let's see. Otherwise, really great start, just a little bit of, I like this, a little bit of consistency. And let's see, if we do this, I think we're going to another page. This is a great photo. Too much scrolling to get to our story, and we want to cut this down to about 2 paragraphs. All right? Great shot. Real nice. Okay. So, yeah, we want to jump right into that. Probably put it right here. Okay? You don't have to use these big headers, right? Just because they came with the template. You do want to be consistent, however. Okay. I probably would put these here so that we don't scroll as much, all right? I would put those right up here, that right up here. Close up some of that space, all right? Otherwise, great job. Probably can put this in 2 columns so that there's not so much scrolling. All right, and I don't know that you need the same big portion because there's not a form to contact you or anything here. Most of this could be put just in a footer, I think. Think about it. It's a lot of... Okay, so, and then we have another contact page. So all of that could be above the scroll. Okay, we wouldn't have to scroll to get there. If there's a map they want to scroll to, that's one thing, but probably you want to get right into this, okay, right away, so that when they're looking for it, they go bam, and here it is. All right. Probably, let's see, this is going to the Real Deal Taco. Good job. We want to put maybe just icons in on every page in the same place. We don't need to be repeating it in different places. And then the only other thing I can think of is a way to get back up from here. But I think once you take out some of these sections that aren't necessary in some of the space, it might not be as a big of an issue, but we might have to have an arrow down at the bottom or something to get us back up. All right, good job. All right, this is fascinating to me, the black and white. Very popular today. I can read this, so that's really good. You have your image, but you have your overlay where you can definitely make the distinction. Sometimes with parallax scrolling, it can be very confusing because the image in the back competes with those in the front. This not as much, except here. Here it looks like it's a picture in the middle and it is competing. So whenever you use a background for a parallax scrolling, it needs to really drop back. Sometimes that means it's got a very deep 1-point perspective, so it looks like it's further back, but that's what needs to happen. And somehow here it happens more because it isn't competing with the front layer. It's dropping back a little bit. So I hope that makes sense. That's something that you want to do. I don't know if you even need that right there. I know it's great to have images of tacos, but it looks a little awkward there. So figure out what you can do there. This page, we try not to cut off faces. That's for everybody. As I looked through this, I felt like the underlining wasn't working everywhere, and you were consistent with it, so that was great, but I would take it off. And I don't think this is your best image here. Maybe that's where pictures of tacos go, but I think this is enough to tell us that that's the location. Okay. But this image, I'm not sure, I don't think it's promoting the site or the food truck very well. Okay. And these work, maybe all caps and no underline, and maybe a little more space between each would give you the hierarchy you need. You could even make this just a little smaller. It's a good, scale right now, but if you need to. Of course, it would be great to get university on one line, but I understand. Also, you guys, Monday and Wednesday are the same, and so is Tuesday and Thursday. If you need to combine them and just say, Tuesday/Thursday, they're the same locations, if you didn't notice that. All right, so we are viewing this at the actual size. And you've got your maps there. Okay. This is a little bit of a problem, right? I'll take that off. We go back and forth from blue to black. Just keep it in mind. Nice and clean. Clean. This. Check that out. All right. Good. Be nice if we could put another line or so there and take one out here. Okay. And maybe it's something as simple as a simple rule line down here, so it's not breaking up like that. And so here's one of those cases where it happens, where these are too much on the same plane, and so they compete. If this really dropped back or was a lighter opacity or just deeper in any way, this would stand up. And I'm not sure that one image is going to work. You might need a gallery of 3 there. This is okay here, but I think you need a full gallery here going across. Very nice. And maybe in some places you can still keep this. I don't know, but in some places it's not really working. I think, be consistent with it as much as you can. Left align that, break up into 2 paragraphs. I think you see what you can do here. I'm not sure that this overlay is quite working, unless maybe this was a little fainter, but this, pouring over that, I'm not sure that works. This works. And this works. These colors are great. I mean, they really are. It's just making sure that it doesn't compete on some pages. All right. Otherwise, It's looking very strong. All right. Nice. Nice. You've got some marketing going on here. And you've got a search, and you've got about and our staff, and that doesn't drop down all over everything. I like that. We want to cut that down to about 2 paragraphs or to here for sure. Otherwise, this is amazing. Okay, just align it with this image, cut it somewhere here, go through. There are things that can be taken out. That's why it was written long, for you to be able to edit for web. If it were a restaurant, maybe somebody would read all that, but we know that online they don't. So it's just a great example to help you remember that. Nice. These are working well for you. And I cannot see that these are going to the social media homepages, so you want to send that over to the Real Deal. Okay, let's see. Nice layout. Okay. I almost thought this was just a tad smaller than this, but I think not. Consider left aligning. At any rate, that should probably, if you're going to center, this should be aligned with that. But I'm not sure that this shouldn't be left aligned and this centered and this left aligned. And left. But this works. Might still be able to do that. A little more spacing here. But overall, this is looking fabulous. Community does not cover up anything. I like that. It's one of the reasons I stay away from drop downs, is students too often cover up content. A little much spacing here, a little too much, right? If you were to combine those, you'd be able to, scroll a lot less, and that would be amazing. Okay, strong. Maybe you don't need something this deep here. I like that you have the times right here where they can see it. Okay. The only thing here, maybe you want to get into this a little quicker, maybe like this. And so maybe you take some of this out here. I know it looks like it may be fixed, but we want to get into this right away. Otherwise, your headers, all these things are looking great. The colors are working really well. Your background is working. Super job. All right. Do you have the logo on the home page? You found that food truck. These look awesome. Okay. Consider the logo, because clients really appreciate that. That's how people identify them quickly. I see it here, and I don't think it would be redundant to have it somewhere else, because this is, a whole different situation here. All right, good job. Okay, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got some drop down. You probably don't need but one, right? Because this is going to go somewhere. And this could say hours and location. Okay, this isn't lining up, and so I would do something about taking this box off and just have the logo. This may need a little less spacing here. Maybe put this on one line. It would get really close there, though, wouldn't it? These would either need a border of some kind. They look like they're cut and paste on. And we have a lot of space here. Now, when we go ahead and fix this to where it doesn't move, because you can see it covers up things, and it will, you'll still see it, but you won't see everything behind it, so it won't compete and cover things up. Okay. That's going to the site. A little space under this, and maybe bring that up over this, or bring those under it if you can. There needs a little padding there. Okay. So like the others, try and align things and remove single words on a line, from a line. And I know it's tough. This is a tough template that you chose. We want to fix that. That's why you're going to make sure that you have a fixed navigation up here, okay? Because now I can't really get back. I have to look for the menu, the navigation menu. These look good, but, you know, we're covering this up. I would put menu here, make it another page, and just maybe image gallery is a drop down from the menu. And then the About Us. Just have one page. So when we click that, it should go there, but right now it's going here. So cut that down, leave padding under there, and just have this link go there, okay? So you have two About pages really, one's empty. Make sure you're using the same fonts as your headers throughout. See, this is different. And that's different. Okay, so choose one, be consistent all the way through. Whether it's upper or lowercase, the same style, the same color, all those things. I would take this off. I don't think it's helping anything, and since it's a portfolio piece, I would just take that off. Okay. Okay, I think locations and hours can be combined for sure. Okay. All right, a little more space here above the title and here. All right, great start. Okay. I like that, Taco Tuesday on wheels. Nice. No one was required to have ordering online, so that's something to think about. Same thing here about the navigation. It needs to be fixed so it doesn't move. So all of this just goes behind it, and this bar, this white, stays, okay, because we can't see it when we get here. We have to look for it, and that's something for usability we need to avoid. Okay, these need to link up. Probably put that on one line and take out some of that space. Good. Good. Try and get this either on two lines. This we don't want by itself, okay? The red, be careful. I know that's with the menu, but, you know, maybe yellow or something would work better. Now we've introduced, here's glassware. We can't do that, right? We talked about that. Okay. Okay, these, of course, came with the template, and these really don't quite work, these particular things here. And the glassware, although it's a really great photo and the color is nice, but the glassware and everything, it's not a restaurant. Okay. All right, Nakia, you've got some great things. And we don't have the About Us content, so that needs to be entered. Okay. This red, let's change that. and a little less scrolling, okay? So we're going to close up some of that space, left align. You can edit a little bit as you need to, and take this out. This probably would go right under that if that's what you're doing here. But yeah, I think you can find a way, whether, let's see. I think you can find a way to reduce that. And I would try and get rid of this probably because you're going over it. So, it's kind of in the way. I would disable this. Because it will always say this. So I would take it off because we try and avoid anything that says under construction or coming soon or a blog that has no posts. All right, so this I would put either a fish or a little half circle, which would look like a taco, something like that. All right, okay. All right, great start, Nakia. All right. These are going to Wix, so we want to make sure those go to Real Deal Tacos. Update this footer down here, your copyright date. Okay. This is at full view. It's possible that on yours it looks different, but I'm in Chrome and you want to consider what it's like for other people. So this is a little... On mine, it's cropping off. Okay, nice. I think you want to fix your navigation, although there's not a lot of scrolling, and that's good. If you want to just go to here, you wouldn't have to because it's not so far to scroll back up. But otherwise... Otherwise, you would need to fix this. Okay, spacing. Spacing. Okay, but clear. All right, cut this down. Okay. This text is larger, so I'm thinking it should be more consistent because it doesn't really feel like it's supposed to be. Okay, so so this needs to be optimized. I would just get straight into this. All right, and have an image here, great image here. That's what I would do, actually. I would take this out and get right into this. Okay, so I think we need a contact page. Okay. And I think we need a locations. Well, you've got this, but it needs to be a little clearer, like maybe here, and then there's a drop down for it or a place for it. Testimonials can also be added somewhere. That is, the content can be put on your menu at the bottom, and then take that page off, bring that over and put contact there. That's one option. All right, good start. Okay, we're a little, cut off. We got to be careful not to cut off text. I say they do this, but it's still in the way, so I would dismiss that. Okay, when we have crops here, be careful that we're not cutting anything off, especially a company logo. They're very particular about logos. We don't change the colors. Okay, this is starting, so many points in, and this one is starting way over here. This one looks centered, so we want to make that more consistent. Okay. A little redundant, we don't need this because we have it here, which is good. The circle is now an oval. I'm going to let it go, but remember, for any logo, we can't touch it. We can't do anything to it to alter it. This needs to be cut down and a little hard to read, right? The contrast needs to improve. Okay. The lead-in is slow. Be careful with, glassware images. You can make this edit down to where they're the same length, same depth. Okay. Nice. And okay. Okay. These look great, but, again, glassware. That's kind of cool. I mean, there's not to say that they're getting a jar. I mean, this could be in the food truck, in a jar. So that would be okay. Okay. All right. Let's move contact to the end. You've got your locations here. It's not really your contact. You've got contact information here. You could put this at the bottom if you wanted. Put the link over here and turn that into a locations page. Okay. All right. I like how you've separated the important information. So that works. Make sure all of your headers are the same color, same size, same upper lower case. Okay, so again, glassware here. Sometimes you could zoom in on some of these, and you wouldn't see the glassware. It's not such a big deal there, and this is good. So, yeah. Okay, you've got a great start, and you're almost there. Let's be careful with red, all right? And we have to take that off. So sorry, because it's on the logo, right? Nice. Okay, we got to get rid of that placeholder text. This was better before this image popped in, I think. I'm going to let this go, but because maybe they would have tables at their food truck. But update this and add your fictitious disclaimer. And okay, I like this. I think all the headers need to be like this to be more consistent, but I do like this. Looks good with the O. Okay. Maybe 2 columns for all of this. We can close that up a little bit. Okay. I think I would bring this up here. And if the other was in white, I would make this in white. This is too hard to read, and keep in mind we can't overlap, so you'll have to resolve that. And contrast isn't there. Okay, we need the contrast to be able to read this, and you'll want to cut it down. All right, let's put this font the same as this font, and maybe our locations just like you did before. And yeah, got to be careful with that parallax scrolling. These don't feel like they go together, okay? And we're scrolling to get to this, which is what we want, this content. Okay. Have these go to the Real Deal Taco, fictitious site. And once you make some of the major changes, it'll go pretty quick. All right? It'll start coming together. Good job. Okay. This is a kind of a complicated template because the logos, the headers are so large and there are so many illustrations, but a lot of that takes up a lot of space and causes us to scroll. We have some conflict here, right? And yeah, it would have to be a fixed header, and this would have to go to the right of this. And maybe you can put this on a white background, but you see we're cutting it off, so that we have to repair that. Okay. I would take these out. I know it's tough because you try and make choices and you want to keep some things, but this is a template that you can't keep most of it or a lot of it. Even though it's a similar, content topic-wise, it just doesn't make for a clean, simple site. Okay. Beautiful, but glassware. Color's great. You might be able to use that image if you were to crop it in, but then you'd have to make sure the resolution was there. So all of this is just a lot of scrolling. This is a lot of scrolling when that could be on one line and smaller. And again, these aren't really helping, okay? They're not, it's like a movie script. If it's not pushing the story forward or explaining something, it probably doesn't need to be there. All right. And so in your case, you're going to take a lot of the rows off. You're going to reduce all the different lines of text. Try and put them on one line, things like that. Okay. Cut this down and take that off. Cut it down and bring this up to align with this. And you can wrap that text around to about here. So all of that will be on one page, okay, without scrolling. You have two location pages here. One with content, one without. This is the important stuff, so get that above the map. And, you could say questions and not have so much text, or you could put that smaller on one line. Okay. Again, all of this is already up here for the most part, so you don't need most of that. Okay, so break these up into paragraphs so they're easier to digest. And yeah. All right. Good start. Okay, we need to eliminate this. Maybe you thought you had, but we need to take those out. This is placeholder text. We'll need to change that and these images. And these aren't the hours that I recall. All right, so you can take this whole thing out. Reservations, I would take that out. Okay, so either a picture is large and taking time to load, and we want to get into this right away. Okay, probably needs a title here. Okay, you can, if nothing else, make this bold so that it stands out. But we have a lot of scrolling to get to what we want, which is this. Okay, and take this space out to here again. Bold that, what it is, and prices. Okay, so take this out. So look at some of the others. These images need to be placed and they need to be optimized. So the largest size you can, or rather the smallest size file you can with the sharpest quality. Once it starts to lose the quality, then it's too small, it's been optimized too much. Well, it's no longer optimal. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? Very little scrolling. Need more padding here. Probably just the menus without the box would be good there. Maybe in white, right, to separate it. Make sure all your headers are the same and that your texts are all the same. Pretty good here. Maybe you take an image and you just make it come as deep as this column of text, all right? So it's like this, right? Okay. Let's try not to have the same image. This is great. There are some other options. Take a little more space out. Okay. It took a little time to come up. And these are going to go to, of course, the site. So everybody has got a great start. And you were not responsible for mobile, but I like to see it once in a while to show you what it would look like. All right. So I look forward to the submissions with the feedback implemented, and that will be at the end of week 4. All right. Good job, everybody.